G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. You know, I absolutely love adventure riding and the camping that goes along with it. 4 years ago I caught the adventure riding bug and since then I haven't looked back. It's an amazing sport to get into, and whether you already ride a motorbike or not, it is definitely something you need to try. But it can be a little bit daunting when first starting out. So today I'm here to run through a few tips that should help you get out there and start your own moto camping journey. Picking a camp spot close to home is a great option when starting out moto camping. I did this myself with a few mates when I first started getting into camping off a motorcycle. I would say to aim for no more than an hour away from home, at least for your first camp. It just helps lower the stress levels should you forget something, and it gives you the option to easily go home should you need to reset and try another time. You'd hate to plan out your first adventure, get to camp some 400-500 kilometers from home, and then realise you've forgotten your sleeping bag or something similar. Get all those issues sorted at camps close to home before venturing out further. Now another little tip, especially if you're heading out solo, would be to pick a spot that you know is regularly used by others. Even though you are still technically solo camping, it is comforting to know you have some grey nomads nearby should you need a helping hand. Who knows, they may even offer you a beer. When it comes to adventure riding and adventure camping gear, good ain't cheap and cheap ain't good. Well, for the most part. I feel you get what you pay for with most things adventure, and I've found that out the hard way a few times while getting my setup to where it is now. I would suggest to write down a list of items you need and list them from most important to least important in your mind and scale it off your budget. The things that are most important you should try and get the best you can afford, and as you move down the list you may be able to go for a more budget friendly option. For example, I always want a good sleep when I'm out camping, so I went for a higher end sleeping mattress, getting one of the better ones I could afford. Then for my cooking setup, I opted for a generic hiking stove setup over the fancy Jetboil, as in my eyes, they do the same thing anyway. Now that's just one example, but it's worthwhile doing so you don't end up spending more money than you need to on things you barely use, or going the other way and having to replace products because you went to the cheap option and it's worn out already. This one is an important one, guys. Make sure you let someone know where you are headed. Obviously much more vital if you're heading out solo, but still important even when heading out on a group adventure. At a minimum, you would let them know when you plan to be home. That way, if you aren't back by that time, someone can come searching for you. But ideally, you would have a pre-planned route that you are riding and a campsite that you plan on staying at that you could share, so if something happens along the way, you should be easy to find. Now this might not be needed for the first few small camping trips close to home, because more than likely you'll have phone reception. But if you are able to afford a satellite phone or satellite communicator of some kind, it is a great thing to have to keep people updated of how things are going. I personally use a Garmin InReach Mini, so I can always let family know where I am at all times and send them messages to check in, even when out of reception, as well as the included SOS button feature should things go bad. It's probably not super necessary when just starting out, but just something to think about the bigger your adventures get. Now last but not least, guys, is that any bike is an adventure bike if you want it to be. My DOZ is one of the cheaper options for adventure bikes, and I've had plenty of good times on it over the past 4 years. Try not to get too caught up in thinking you need a big twin cylinder adventure bike with all the fruit to get out and have a good time. Get a used bike, get a postie bike, heck, you don't even need an off-road bike. If you want to stick to the blacktop for your riding, then go for it. Throw some sort of camping gear on the back and away you go. I feel like too many people wait until they have the perfect setup before they go anywhere. Get the basics, get any bike and just go. A bad day of adventure riding beats a day at work or sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Well, that's the end of my short list of tips for beginning moto camping. What do you think? Are these some helpful points? If you've got some more suggestions, please throw them down below in the comments. As I said, I love adventure riding and the camping adventures, and I want more people to join in and enjoy it as well. So if you're just starting out, I hope this video helps you find your way into motor camping, and if you have any other questions, chuck them down below, and if I can't answer them, I'm sure someone else will. Thanks as always for making it to the end of the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Ride safe out there and happy moto camping. See you in the next video.